Howdy folks, and welcome back to the channel for my regular coverage of the bi-weekly Project Zomboid development update known as the Thursdoid. Now, in this video, I'll aim to cover the most important aspects of the information posted by the devs, translate more complex pieces where it's necessary, and throw in a little bit of speculation and suggestions as well along the way. As always, the link to the full blog post will be in the description if you want to give it a read, and if you do find the video informative or useful, please do consider dropping a video a like and subscribing for more zombie-based videos just like this one. Without further ado, let's get into the dev blog of June 8th, 2023. So the devs kicked this one off by essentially saying that this blog isn't going to be a lengthy one, as a lot of stuff is currently in a work in progress state right now and not too many flashy new things are available for them to show this time around. However, they give us a bit of an update on the crafting overhaul, the next big part of this being merging the crafting revamp to the central trunk build. This will primarily be crafting stations, which they note has had some reworks and will also now make it possible for benches to have parts that can degrade on use and can be viewed, removed, or added in a maintenance tab. So in essence, if we have a crafting bench at our base, we'll have to maintain it in a good working order to keep it running. I'm actually really glad this was implemented. It might not sound like a huge deal, but it gives us an extra thing to keep tabs on or collect resources for, which is of course one of the key building blocks of the Project Zomboid experience, so I'm all up for that. RJ is currently working on integrating deer tracking with the foraging search mode that's part of build 41 already, whilst other parts of the team continue to work towards new optimization, lighting, and depth changes. There's some bugs they're trying to work out at the moment, so there's nothing much to show here right now. Work moving multiplayer inventories to server side rather than client side is ongoing, and there's some extra work going on at the moment with the fishing and trapping systems, namely getting them working with the new systems coming along in build 42. Okay, so that's the recap portion of the blog sorted. Now we're on to the juicy bits, the new stuff and some video footage. For this, the devs take us once again to the revamped farming system we're expecting in build 42, and we're given a pretty chunky bit of footage that's just over 2.5 minutes long, so I'm gonna leave parts of that running in the background whilst we talk about what's in the footage itself. Now in the very first scene of this footage, we see Ams stood with a bunch of new seeds, farming magazines, and other miscellaneous items. We can see some herbs here on the table in front of her, but something I was also able to catch over on the other table was what looks to be an unrolled cigarette, which might mean we can finally grow tobacco for ourselves to make our own cigarettes. This has always been an issue in the late game for those that take the smoker trait, and there's been a couple of mods like Hydrocraft that have added a tobacco plant, so it'll be great to see this added in vanilla if that is indeed what they are doing here. I think the tobacco was supposed to be for the eagle-eyed amongst us, because in the next scene we're shown a whole range of seed packets including new vegetables and herbs, but tobacco isn't on there at all, so I definitely think that was a sneaky addition just to tease us going forward. We've got a huge list of crops coming to the game here. Up until now we've only been told that there was a wide variety on the way. This is our first look at the names of these crops and the first time seeing them in game as well. We're given a demonstration of the new mechanics when it comes to reading seed packets for knowledge of the plants, which now highlights them green when they've been read. Now, this isn't mentioned in the video, but I'll be interested to see if this mechanic is intended to transfer over to regular books as well. Now, currently there's no way to determine if a book has been read at a glance, so it could be useful to have that, and again, some mods have rectified this issue. Anyway, back to farming. We're then shown the new system when it comes to planting and interacting with crops without the use of the right-click menu. Simply equip a farming tool, aim at the tile you want to plant in, and then use the E key to dig a furrow. In a similar fashion, planting seeds is done by equipping them, aiming at the furrow, and then using E once again to plant them. So we're getting a more tactile system here, essentially, with less menus. We can still use those menus if we want to, but this is a bit cleaner. Using E seems to be the new way most interactions are handled, including including harvesting and watering as well. The devs do note that the animations will need some tidying up and that things aren't in a final state just yet, but this is still really good to see. Finally, we get to a couple of time lapses of some of the crops growing and then the crops going through all of their different development stages, showing off some of the new tiles and models for the plants themselves. I'm a big advocate for farming in Project Zomboid, so all of this stuff is really exciting, and I know a lot of players will feel exactly the same way. Anyway, that's farming. The next part of the dev blog is dedicated to some world building. We get a look at a new tool that the developers are using to help direct newer players towards some good safe house locations. This is in the form of in-game house sale listings, which we're given a picture of in this blog post with a couple of examples. Now, I'm not sure if this is the finished product or if this is just the content for the advertisements, but all the same, I'd be interested to see if you guys can work out where these locations are based on the information we're given. Do you think this will be a useful aspect to the game for new players? Let me know. We also get a couple of pictures showing off what Ayrton is working on right now, as well as some new areas of the map coming to Build 42. Ayrton has been working with areas of the existing map to give it a bit of a glow up, if you like. The two pictures show the same building, illustrating the revamp it's been given by this member of the team, and I gotta say, it looks really impressive once you've seen the before and after shots. Lastly, we get a look at some of the extra clothing items coming to Build 42 in the form of some kick-ass SWAT gear, local law enforcement clothing, and a selection of hats. So that's it from me in this one, and that's it for what was covered in the Thursdoid blog post this week. But if you have any questions about what was shared, or you're excited for something from this post in particular, go ahead and let me know in the comments. As always, I'm looking forward to seeing your responses. I'd like to say a very special thank you as well to the patrons of my channel for their support towards my content, towards our mod developments for Project Zomboid, and for joining us on our whitelisted Project Zomboid server. The server is currently featuring a wipe based many years after the apocalypse, with a custom-made firearms mod, craftable melee weapons, and a completely overhauled vanilla map to reflect the change of times. If you want to join in, there's a link in the description to my Patreon. Thanks folks, and I'll see you all in the next one.